Y'all already know, man, it's one of your favorite rapper, man, and I got my big bro in the building, man.
King Wayne, man.
King Wayne, you feel me? What's up, big bro? You know the vibe, man. It's been a minute, man.
Yes,
It's been a
sir.
minute, man. You know,
Yes, sir.
one of my guests on my first season during COVID, you know what I'm saying?
I think we went viral.
Right? Yeah, we did. We did I think we did a freestyle in the car about the
I don't rap, y'all. I don't rap.
I think it was me and Verse. Or it might have been just it was me and Verse. Shout out to my nigga Viso Bank. You know what I mean? But we did a freestyle about hand sanitizer and all this goofy shit, and that shit just went viral.
Dead in the middle of the hood too. We was back in the hood on the low block. On the low block.
Germantown. You feel me? Like, that was some crazy shit.
That was some crazy.
Because by the end of the night, we was looking at the video like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, that was going up.
Shit went up fast. Yeah. But glad to have you in the building. I appreciate it. It's been a minute, big bro. No, I appreciate you being a guest. Anytime you hit me up and say, look, man, I got some shit to talk about. I'm sitting there like this. I'm on the phone looking at the phone like, oh shit. Here we go. You know what I mean? So for the Entrepreneur Talk community, give them a little bit of background on yourself, you know what I mean? Just kind of bring them into who you are and how you got here.
Well, you know, they call me King Wayne, also Jay Moody. Some people call me Hove. Just depends on where you are in the world, amongst a bunch of other names. Some good, some indifferent, all that shit. And you know, I'm just me, entrepreneur for sure. Music executive for 20 plus years in the city of Philadelphia. One of the movers and shakers in Philadelphia.
That's facts.
Regardless of what people's opinions are, you know, when it comes to music, you can't say music in Philadelphia without saying Jay Moody. So you know.
Big Jay Moody, King Jay Moody, you feel me?
Big dog, big dog for sure.
That's what he was. That's what he was when I met him, and that's who he still is.
Big dog, big dog for sure. So you know, I had to come through Rome. You know, me and Rome tapped in years ago, and we've always been. You know, you always been solid. You know what I mean? From day one when I met you in the studio, you always been solid. So that's why it's always love every time we get together.
Real shit. You just use the same way. You know what I mean? Schooled me on some things and. Even when I was pulling you to the side and, you know, saying, Moody, you know, I need some help with this. I'm trying to understand some shit, you know, and you was able to see past the lens of the camera. You was kind of seeing past like you, all right, I know you filmed, but you seem bigger than that and deeper than that. And I could feel your aura and your presence in the room. So like, come sit down and talk with the OG. You know what I mean? Let me pick your brain a little bit, but it was a great pick because it was like, okay, now I got a mentor, I got somebody I can go to and count on and also be honest to. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you always been with me, just raw, honest, and said, listen, I ain't telling you nothing wrong. You can run with it, or you can sit down and just let that shit seep in and let time fly past. But time is moving, whether you shake and bake or not. So since I'm telling you how to shake and bake, boom.
And really all it is just really studying. I mean, I'm a student of life at the core of me. And it's just from me living. You know what I mean? It ain't like I went to college or learned this shit from no book and nothing like that. It's just, you know, I failed enough times and been through so many situations that, you know, I learn from everything that I go through. So when I'm evaluating a person or a situation, it's like I'm just trying to look at it from the standpoint of being in real time. Like most of us are living life on like a 7 to 10 second delay. And I'm gonna tell you what I mean by that. You got somebody like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, myself, but I choose to live in real time. And what real time is just focusing on the moment right now. And when you do that, you can really look at what's going on around you, and it's like everything's moving in slow motion. So you
can see the transcend of life in everybody's viewpoint of what they trying to portray or push off, or perception that they want people to or to appear to be. But at the same time, like you say, when it's moving slow like that, it's like the movie. It's like if you're looking at the Matrix, you see every shell casing fall, every bullet flying, what it's hitting, when they ducking, when they dodging it, when they do a different move, because it's some shit, it's more bullets coming this way now than it was 2 seconds ago. But all this is in milliseconds for real, y'all. When we realize when it slowed down, imagine being able to see that shit.
Most of us are thinking about it like what's the result from the action that I'm going to do?
Right.
Versus just do the action.
Do the action.
Don't worry. And that's, you know, that's what we talked about.
Right.
Do the action.
You said just do the action. Don't worry about
the result will come.
Because I was rapping like I needed results.
Yeah.
You like,
nah.
No, bro. Like you
because the results might not even be coming from who you're expecting.
There you go. There you go.
You get what I'm
saying?
That
was the whole anticipation that was the whole flip side of what you was giving me. That's what I caught. I said, I'm too much in the box.
Exactly.
I'm not thinking out the box.
You gotta step in. Right. You're thinking out the box. You gotta step outside
of
it and look
in it.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, when you think about it, when something comes from Amazon, you're not in the box already. You open the box up and you look inside the box.
Mm-hmm.
So life is about looking inside the box, and that's being in real time. So really, that's my premise. That we saw work with so many different artists, or the lack thereof. I mean, it's always been a semblance, because when we think about some of the artists that I have dealt with, some as big as Uzi on a level. I mean, you had Sosa who did his thing, Young K. It's like I could name names all day, but then you got some of the artists that didn't do as well. But you know, while I'm in the situation, you see that the moves are there and setting it up. Most people don't understand sometimes, or not even sometimes, when you're dealing in business, because at the end of the day, this is all business. Right?
Facts.
You're a person, but then there's still business. Most people can't pull that.
They can't pull that off.
They can't pull that, not pull it off, but they can't pull the ego or the emotion of who they are
out of the situation. They think from their point of view 24/7.
Exactly.
Instead of having a mindset of, this is business. This don't have nothing to do with me personally. I'm trying to get this person to cooperate through business.
Yeah, that's it.
Not my personal.
Because you gotta think about it like this. If you think about a lot of the artists that I've dealt with, you know, and like at the end of the day, it's always a show of bravado and ego, like to the outward world. But I'm sure all these niggas respect me at the end of the day. I mean, even to see me sitting here today, you gotta respect me.
Of course.
But with that being said, you know, I've dealt with people who probably didn't like me at all, but Kobe and Shaq won 3 championships, right?
And they weren't fucking with
exactly. That's
that Mamba mentality. That's that Shaq, that Superman mentality. Like, okay, I still got to go out here and be me.
Exactly.
Kobe, like, I got to go out here and be me. And them two being themselves is what led them to get the championships they got together.
It's just to show that it doesn't always have to function perfectly for it to work. You get what I'm saying? So,
or even put in a situation where you have no choice but to function together.
Yeah,
you just have no choice. Like you plan for this organization. Yeah, you might not still doing business with somebody else.
I watched this documentary. It's called Welcome to Death Row. It's about Death Row Records, and I never forget. The artist Jewel, rest in peace to her. She was talking about Suge, and the one thing she said about Suge is she was like, Suge was a great businessman.
Right.
She said, whatever he did to get the job done,
that's what he did.
He said, by any cost. And I took that and put that into my formula of making things happen. You might not like the way I do
things,
but it's going to get done.
That's how I be feeling.
That's it. Like, that's it.
Let's let me be.
Sometimes you got to trust that I know what I'm doing.
Real shit. That's what I fuck with you about, though, Moo, because that's like I say, you trusted me with the camera. You put me on a gig with Keith Chief, and it was like some amazing shit, because it was like,
shout out to Drees.
I'm looking at their cameraman they brought with them. Shout out to him, because he was doing his thing. And I was looking at what I was doing, and I'm like, damn, I'm totally something else.
Yeah.
To the point where they was asking, yo, we need somebody to come on up here, and you whoopie. You sent me up with them. And you know what I mean? And you got to think, these are the guys that make the average niggas, they scared of.
Yeah.
They'd have jumped in the crowd. Them niggas would have been, oh my God, this old block. All types of shit, you know what I mean? But it was like, I'm up there being wrong.
Yeah, that's all you can do. You got to be yourself in every situation. That's another thing when you talk about a lot of these artists in the state of Philly. I feel like it's not too many people that are being authentic. Like I used to say to one rapper, I don't give a fuck if you bought your followers. Just tell me. So I don't care about that part. Because the people who we're looking to consume don't give a fuck about it either.
Right.
We just thinking about
just don't have me trying to sell to them, knowing that ain't even they still me.
That's it. They
still me. You got me thinking that we pushing something to these many people. And you kept me on the consumer side, but it's like you not consuming nothing, but I'm backing you.
But and trust me, you see me in real time. I can make anything work. So just be straight up, and I think that's what a lot of these guys.
I didn't even know you really went through that, but that's crazy because now I see why you had to depart, because if it was going that way, and you ain't gonna even tell me that little minuscule shit. There's a whole bunch of shit you're not going to tell me.
Listen, I often say.
So how can you manage if the people you managing ain't telling you shit?
Yeah, I often say a lot of these guys' lack of success is only because they don't listen to Jay Moody. When I talk, it makes sense. Period. People that like entrepreneur, all the people in Entrepreneur Talk world. Once you're done with this interview, you're going to be like, this guy makes all the sense in the world, because that's what I do. I'm a student of life. At the end of the day, it's not anything ego. It's not anything superficial. It's just like success is something that I've attained, and I've attained it through so much. You know, my ability to get knocked down and get back up again.
Right.
Because you get knocked down and it's like, okay, what did I do wrong? What did I do right? Like, what can I take from this situation and put into the next situation?
Right.
Because life is life at the end of the day, right? When you think about school, you think about math class. You think about when we first started out, we had like 1 + 1 and 2 + 2. Easy problems. But then as you get older and you're getting into trigonometry, it starts to get a little tricky, but you still got to figure it out.
You got to figure it out. Even when you know you're not even going to use the shit. You ain't even used the shit prior to learning this shit. But you was like, you know what? I got to learn it to get out of this.
Yeah. Next level.
That's the whole thing. For me to go to this next stage, they telling me I got to figure this shit out.
You got to figure this shit out. So you're just applying that same principle to real life. We deal with levels. We deal with issues. We deal with problems that we have to solve. And we have to solve it in a way that's going to push us. Because that's, and like most of this is adversity, right? Adversity is what builds you at the end of the day. So that's how I look at it. People look at me and be like, yo, you've been through hell. I mean, I'm pretty sure so many people that have talked shit about me crazy. Which is fine. I'm cool with that, because the version of Jason is not the same for everybody. And I respect that. Like it's not the same. Like this chick might get the diabolical Scorpio. While this chick might get the romantic. It's a very different thing.
Or they might get opposite, and now they like, damn, I want your nigga. You like, how the fuck we get the opposite motherfuckers?
Exactly. But with that being said, it's like, with all I've been through, look at me. I'm still here.
Yeah,
I'm still here.
Real talk, man. So like to the Entrepreneur Talk community, like that's a great story, because it's like I say, it brings up the speed of who you are. Your name is in the street of cement and in the concrete. You know what I'm saying? Rather
just a regular dude, although I'm the chosen one.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, in fact, you know, and that's another thing, like. I don't want people to think that's his ego. No, he done did the work. He done put the work in.
I put the work in for this.
You know, you talk about over 20, 30 plus years, you know what I'm saying, in the game.
I go as far back as Cassidy, you know.
That's what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying?
That was 25. What are we in, 2025? 20 years ago. 20 years ago. Me and Cassie grew up together, but 20 years ago, you know, I'm a hustler. We was on that movement. You know what I mean? So I've been doing this a long time. And not even just people most of these guys that are out here managing artists, and respect everybody. But disrespectfully, most of these guys are made by the artists they manage.
Right.
You notice my movement was on me. Because even with old boy, remember he was locked up.
Right.
I was out here moving around.
Yeah, right. Making sure that the name,
making him relevant. His relevance he lost his relevance when he brought his ass home. You gotta think about that. So what that say about me? I had you relevant while you locked up the whole time, and then you come home and it all goes away.
Why go away when he come home though?
Because ego. People feel like, and that's another thing. You know what else I've experienced in this business, which is not just personal to him, but just period. Dealing with camera people, dealing with stylists, dealing with whoever. It's like once I start to put plays into place, people then see me do it and think that it's easy.
Oh, so they think they could do that as fast as they see it. They think they could do
that. Be it, and I'd be like,
damn,
we're not built the same.
So is they so they really around? So they paying you to learn your business or your game?
No, not at all. They're not
because
that.
That's what I'm saying. Because I ain't seen nobody do it yet. But it's like
doing that.
Why would y'all fuck yourself up with Moody just to do some shit you're not even gonna walk all the way through with?
Most of these artists, even boy we talking about, if you look at like his motion, it's all the motion from 2020 that I put together. That's the claim to fame 5 years later. That's crazy.
That's what he got out now?
That's
damn.
I mean, of relevance.
Okay.
You know, he was everywhere. Labels,
I just he did keep cheap.
And that's all the stuff that if you go, that's what he does. That's like what he's done.
You see what I'm saying?
5 years later. Like you ain't done nothing else substantial.
Wow.
It just goes to show like
So when you disappeared, they got in despair. You see what I'm saying? Like, you know, I don't mean to be saying my little
it turned into not only a lesson for them for sure, but a lesson for me from as opposed to what I give my energy to. Now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so now my
what you caring about because you was caring.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
I was caring, bro.
Know, when I had the studio,
you was calling me every second. It was something like, look, I need you to come shoot this. I need you to pull up. I'm about to come grab you. And
even before that, when me and my man Bsσƙ, shout out to Bsσƙ, had the studio in the 444.
Okay.
Every artist that came down, whether it was O'Malley, Core, Ab, all those guys, what y'all need? Mm-hmm. I'm moving shape. What y'all need? Like no,
you know what's so crazy, Moody? You right, because it was times where we needed to get in the building. Me and old boy, you know what I'm saying, had to get in the building and stuff like that, and you was right there to open them up.
There you go.
I think that's how I really like shook your hand and felt you like, damn.
I opened doors.
He's always here, like making sure we.
I opened doors.
Then I'm like, all right, well.
Remember boy tried to get me there, what was that, Christmas or Thanksgiving or some shit? I said, nigga, I'm not staying here.
Oh yeah. Damn. You was like, nigga, I'm about to be here for 15 more minutes. Like, I'm shutting all this shit down.
I'm not staying here all day.
I'm like,
I think it was either Thanksgiving or Christmas.
It was one of them holidays. It might have been New Year's coming in. You like, I'm not staying here.
Like, I'm not staying here for that.
And I was sitting there salty as shit, like, damn, I packed my shit up and all this shit for nothing.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that.
You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. Like, everybody just doing they want to, but nobody's communicating, nobody's connecting the dots together.
And you know what it is? It's also what I've learned. Because I'm gonna tell you a funny story about when I first started managing O'Malley, right? That came together in the basement. And then, you know, we moved to 7th Street. Shout out to Pop.
Shout out to Pop Tracks.
Shout out to Pop Tracks, my brother, for sure. You know, no matter what me and him go through or don't go through, that's my brother.
Yeah, that's big brother.
That goes back. We go back to South Street, nigga. The apartment on South Street. When Pops had the studio on Broad Street. So we go back years. So I love Pop. Always gonna be my brother. But I remember, and you know me, I'm always shit. Even you look at me now, I'm chill.
You always been a chill.
I'm always, you know, I always
thought that was because you was tatted up. You feel me? I was like, and then I'm like, maybe that's some light skin shit. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm like, no. Then I met you. Then I'm like, I say, you come get me. I'm like, we go like your leg, you can go anywhere. With it.
That's just
like, and it's like when it's like, and it's funny because it's like, no matter where we went. It was like motherfuckers wouldn't even look at your leg. Like whatever you would say, motherfuckers be like the door just opened. You be walking in, and I'll be like,
I'm Catholic. I go to Catholic church. All white people, I promise. This is how I'm in church every Saturday.
Crazy.
Chilling. This is just I can exist as me.
This nigga like he from the Navy or something. You know how motherfuckers come over the Marines or the Navy and shit. They can just put on anything. They come in shirts, sweatpants, shit. You be like, why this nigga so laid back? Nigga wore a uniform.
I've been in black tie events just like this, and everybody like that's
Moody.
That's Moody.
That's Moody, bro. Like, but when you get
Oh yeah.
You tell me, you know.
I definitely, you
most definitely turn it the fuck.
I don't know if y'all can see my watch, but I'm that boy.
That light skin shit I'm talking about be that nigga turning the motherfucking what's his name? Damn, what's his fucking name? The singer boy. I'll be sure. I'll be sure and all that shit. Nigga be out here, ladies be tweaking.
So look, that's what I was gonna tell you. So you know, like O'Malley, shout out to him. I remember he was like, yo, you got good energy. You just like get this. It was like when I first saw you, I was on my joint like, who boy? But then I would like see you in action.
That's what I'm saying. Like
he could help me move some shit around. So you know, we got to get some stuff going. And I remember when we first started moving around, he said to me,
shout out to O too.
Yeah, shout out to O. That's my boy. I remember he said to me, and it was funny. It was just so funny. I never forget this. He said to me, he was like, yo, you rolling with the chasers now, man. You about to see some crazy shit, these crazy bitches and all that stuff. And I'm just in my head like, this boy don't know who I am. Like, I was rich before y'all had a record deal without the record deal. Ladies, all that, cars. I done all
But you know what's so funny? I realized that, you know, that's how I know the poverty level and the structure that, you know, our backgrounds of how we raised.
Yeah.
We all think that no matter, like, it's funny, right? You can throw us in like right now, we can leave out right now and get caught up in a traffic jam and just be out. Let's say 30 people in their car, we all niggas. We outside, we like, it's hot, nigga, like Bug said, it's hot as shit. And we out our cars, we taking our shirts off, wagging, and we sitting on top of them bitches like, yo, this shit crazy. Straight traffic jam, right? Yeah. What's crazy is that one moment, everybody think that we all came from the same soil and the same shit and the same. So I noticed with our city, no matter when we get the bread or the come up or whatever, whoever around, we just so enlightened and yo, we about to see some shit. We going whoop-de-whoop. Like it feel like nobody's seen what we're about to see because they think that they're the ones that's about to create it.
It's crazy. I was down my way down 22nd Street yesterday, right? And I just bought this car.
Right.
I took it to get detailed for my boy. And you know, when regardless of where I am in the city, I'm gonna walk around.
That's what you do. That's what I'm saying. It's the tattoos, man.
I don't give a fuck where I'm gonna walk around. I'm gonna speak to everybody, whether it's old ladies, whether it's the little YNs, because my presence commands respect because I'm giving respect, right? Because I'm giving respect, not because I'm just over anybody. But I'm giving
that's why I was saying earlier when I said ancient ego. You actually well mannered. You know what I mean?
For sure. I was raised pretty good, but like I say this to say, I'm walking through North Philly and I'm speaking to people I know, and you know, people ain't seen me in a while now, so I'm getting a lot of love. And I was talking to a young lady on the phone, and I'm like, you know, it's kind of crazy. The king walking dead in the hood, like dead. I'm dead in the middle of the hood, you know, walking through, and I'm like, the crazy part is the misconception about the hood is it's just the worst place in the world. And I'm like, no, it's like really some good people.
It really is.
Like it's rich people that live in the hood.
Right.
It's millionaires that live in the hood.
You can stay outside might look one way. You go inside the doors, and the inside is crazy because I just went to one the other day and was like down Diamond Street, like by Fairmount Park, and it was like boom, like. I'm like, Uncle fuck.
Yeah.
And go up in the crib and my man got that shit looking like I was in a fucking 5-star hotel. I said, oh, he got the bitches. Excuse my French. I'm like, he got them. I know them motherfuckers. He even had a motherfucking room that was empty. He like, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do with this joint. I said, look, but he want to start a podcast. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, as I'm thinking, I'm like, look, we paint this motherfucker all green and some shit, or put some drapes. Yeah, nigga. But it was just crazy. So like I said, I ain't been on that side in years. Yeah. So to be back on my side, you know, of Broad Street, North Philly, 30, you know, back Diamond Street, and I'm like, this is even the funniest part. Nigga able to go in and out his crib, and he leave his fucking front door open.
That be the part though. People think it's like the worst place in the world. It's like, nah. Like
when you command your shit, like you said, when you demand and command and give, it's like I always go back to Frank Lucas when I always said when he was like, you know, I was good to Harlem, so Harlem won't be good to me.
Yeah.
some people be like, how the fuck how did he create that? You had to live some shit out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I tell people, you know, some people that's still walking around that lives enough shit out that doors is going to open up like that. I said, I was always the type of guy when I even hustled. It's funny, right? Because when I first started selling crack, you know, I was always the weed guy. You know what I mean? I never really wanted to sell dope or crack and all that because my mom was crack, you know, was on drugs. So, but when I first had no choice at one point in time in my life, where it was like, that's all we can get our hands on.
Yeah.
Where it was like, damn, like shit. And if I did get my hands on some weed, it was more crack fiends that we was around than niggas really smoking. Motherfuckers wasn't really smoking more than me. So it was like, oh man. So I ain't gonna outbeat these niggas. Even though I'm not, these my homies. I ain't even trying to outbeat them, but I ain't gonna make no money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I started selling the crack, and it was like, imagine walking down the block and niggas like, yo, who got it? And I'm like, me. And they like, you. And I'm like, you. They like, bro, you got this shit? I'm like, you do this shit?
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild.
Oh shit. So before I knew it, I was being told, come to the house. Whereas though I didn't even have to stand on the corner to sell this shit. That's how, I always put God in every situation. Absolutely. You know what I mean? Like he had me to the point where I was still shielded because the people that loved me, I didn't know they was on it. And they looking at me like, you selling it. And I'm like, I ain't got nothing else. I'm trying to make some fucking money. Like, I ain't trying, I got rent and shit. My dad on some shit. I'm trying to, and they like, all right, come to the crib. So it's like now I don't have to stand on the corner because everybody I'm selling to is some fucking body I didn't even know was doing this shit. And I'm like, but it made it easy for me because now they like, come on up the block, I'm up the block. Matter of fact, I'm gonna be ready to go off for work. I'm about to go in and change my clothes real quick. Just sit on the porch. Shit like that. Whereas I could move my shit like that nobody knew I was even selling crack.
Yeah, you was moving under the radar.
You know what I mean? And I didn't even drive it in that direction. That path took a path of its own, but that goes back down to what you just said. I gave so much respect and love and got it that when people seen it, they like, all right, I don't want you going to jail. I don't want you telling motherfuckers I'm on this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, now you know I do this shit. I'm like, oh my God. So, I built great relationships with people that was hardworking people. They was just doing that shit when they got off of work and some shit like that. And I'm like, so eventually I put that shit down. But just, like I said, just going back to relating to you saying, absolutely. You're respected. The man of aura, what you give sometimes will take care of you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Them doors opened up where niggas they know like, you going to such and such. I'm like, yeah, I'm about to go in there. They say they're gonna cut me some cake or some shit. You know what I mean? I like that sweet shit, nigga. I had sweet too. Niggas like, oh, this nigga always wants some sweet shit, man. I'm going down the block. Throw niggas right off and I'm in there moving the snow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I never, like I say, it was something that was always haunted me. You know what I mean? It always kind of fucked me up and deterred me like, this shit up, son. This shit's my people. Like, and then in my mind, I'm like, but damn, if I don't got it, they still gonna go out here and then they gotta go outside and ride around and can get locked the fuck up or whatever. So I kind of made it easy for them too. So it was like, it was a hand-in-hand thing.
Yeah.
Like, damn, home got it. So he can come to the crib. I mean, I ain't even gotta go outside and see none of them niggas. I'm tired anyway. Motherfuckers had their little living their personal lives too. And the mixers just wanted some dope, but they still had personal lives. But yeah, big bro, that shit is crazy, man. So now, how do it feel being, I'm not gonna say semi-retired, but kind of retired out of the game, but still, making your rounds, still got motion, still high profile, high name, when people, like you said, when people see you, they not quiver, but it's like a joy. It's like, oh shit, Moody in it. Moody must got getting ready to do something, or Moody about to bring something to the neighborhood, or just bring it yourself. How do that feel?
It feels amazing because it shows that it's kind of a reassurance for me, right?
Okay.
Because we all got a little insecurity about everything.
Right.
Like I ain't even gonna say and act like I haven't experienced bouts of that. But it just goes to show that what I've done through my life is
had an impact.
You know what I mean? Like I remember when I did the hoodie march years ago, which was crazy. It really set off a trickle effect.
That was for Draymond.
That was for Trayvon Martin. That was what in turn started the Black Lives Matter.
Right. Oh shit. As far as here in Philadelphia.
Oh no. I was on CNN. I was on the news.
All right.
Everybody started doing everything. I mean, that's one thing about me. Like I said,
but that's that energy I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like that's what I mean when I say no matter what room or wherever you step. Like even when, like I say, you might call me out of we might not talk for 6-7 months. Almost a year might go past. But by the time you call me, you like, Romy, what you doing, little bro? Like, nothing. I'm like, in the crib. You like, I see you getting to it. Like you always call me, support me, big me up, and make sure like you need something. You need me to come. Like,
because in the world we live in, everybody wants to see you not make it, right? Everybody wants that part. So I feel like as a person, for my people,
you got
and I'm 100% man, but I'm gonna pick up some fucking pom-poms for my folks. I'm gonna be in the motherfucking stands cheering the loudest.
There you go.
Period. So if I fucking and anybody that I've dealt with, any artist that I've dealt with, any situation I've been involved in, I've always been the loudest. Because I know it's so many people. And I know even with what we do on a day-to-day, people watch it and won't say a fucking word.
They won't say nothing.
I consciously know that. That's why I was always speak up. Absolutely. So that's what I was saying, to go back to the question that you asked. It feels amazing because I know I've had an impact on people, even the ones that act as if I haven't done anything. Eventually, it was this one.
What's funny, not to cut you off. But it's crazy that you said that, right? But I'm gonna take a word from out of there. You said even if they act, that's one of the key words I'm trying to get my daughter to understand and let her know. Like it's gonna be a lot of people that's gonna favor you, look like you, act like they reciprocate everything from you, but they're acting. They're acting. And it ain't even their fault. It's a generational curse because it goes back to when you was a child, when they like, get up, learn how to act right.
Learn how to act.
Learn how to act.
Absolutely.
So imagine if it was some shit that you really got popped for and you didn't really like. You had to act like it. You had to act like you like it
right now. You spitting right now.
You feel what I'm saying? So it's like that's the world that I feel like we have been in, and that's why we stick out sometimes like sore thumbs, and we get this nail in the coffin, and we get hung on the cross and shit like that because niggas is like, how they so out the box? But they can come in the box anytime they want to. They in and out. We see them in the motherfucker. We see them on the outside of the motherfucker. The niggas in the box that want to get out, they ain't even trying to get out, but they letting them out. You know what I mean? Yeah, I see you when you get back in this joint. You feel what I'm saying? And then before you know it, we get out. And if we out too long, now they like, well, y'all motherfuckers let them out. But them people that let us out knew we don't belong in there. We're their voice on the outside.
You know what my grandfather used to always tell me, and he used to drive this shit into my head like a nail into the fucking coffin, right? It's funny because you said, yo bugs. It's funny because you said, people are always being told, act like you know all that shit. This is what he would say to me religiously. He said, Jason, be a leader, not a follower. So much so, and it's again, this isn't my ego, it's just how I'm programmed. When you see me on social media, who I follow? Nobody.
That's crazy.
I check up on my people.
No, that's the funny part. Like that's crazy because sometimes I look at all the people and I'm like, damn, can I delete these people? You know what I mean? But then I'm like, you know what? It's like what you're saying. It's like what we do in real time. Respect. Okay, y'all hit me with the likes. Y'all supported. Y'all didn't have to follow me. Some of y'all, majority of y'all, I ain't even grew up with the sandbox nowhere under earth with y'all. But y'all make sure y'all find some time to check in on Rome. I might put something up there. I don't put, I ain't no emotional guy, so I don't put a bunch of emotion up there. But when I do, a lot of great people do tap in and be like, yo, you good? You know what I mean? Like, I'm just checking on you. And that's when you really know who your real supporters are.
No, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? They're the genuine. I don't care if it's 10, 5, 7, 8 people.
Because there's a million more people just like them.
Right.
Looking for the same
type of content.
You get what I'm saying? Exactly.
So now, right, So now, right, what's your next adventure kind of being like outside of the music game and stuff like that? Because you, like I said, I know you still tapped in. You had a few artists you was managing and stuff like that. Can you speed us up a little bit on what happened in those situations and what made you turn into what you're doing right now, as far as like kind of kick back, lay back, and just being like an A&R, analyzing, you know, making sure paperwork right for different people and stuff like that.
I like to say at this point in my career, I was an A&R when I first started out, but now I'm a music executive for sure.
Okay.
Street exec for sure.
Street exec for sure.
But a street exec that got access to every office
in the country,
in the game. Yep. So, but really, and not to spend too much time on what didn't work. You know what I mean? Like, we know who the guys are. Y'all know who y'all are too. You know, and I still wish y'all success.
Facts.
Because that's just who I am as a person. I don't want to see nobody just on their ass. But you gotta figure it out. You get what I'm saying? But it really just got to a point where I just got tired of like fighting the battle of like and most artists see what they saw in me. It wasn't like I went around asking people, "Can I manage?"
That's what I'm saying. That right.
I never did that.
You never offered it to me.
Even when it's to the beginning of my career, we go back to Cass. Like, me and Cass grew up together. I ran into Cass at Cheltenham Mall one day over the Christmas holiday. He was like, "Yo, Moody, shit going up. Like, I want you to start."
Yeah, the same thing. Shout out to Cass. That's big, bro, man. Shout out to the not to cut you off, Big Move, but you know that he pulled me into, and that's folks, you know, always invited me down to Atlanta and say, you know, come on down, bro. You know, if you got something going on, call me.
I remember that's when Cass was driving the blue Subaru wagon. You know what I mean? Like, we go back to Street Fighter in the crib.
See what I'm saying?
Making cardboard belts and shit. Like, so you know, I'm dug into this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But with that being said, it's like these guys that I like before I just kind of just left it alone.
Right.
It's just like, I don't want to keep pulling teeth with somebody who came to get my services.
Right.
So you got my services, and now you're trying to act as if
you didn't get the services.
Yeah, that too, or act as if you don't want to trust my moves and things of that nature.
Right.
But all these guys, they benefited from me in ways. It was some of these guys slept on my couches, paid for all kinds of stuff. Everybody trying to hit you to get $20 for this or $50 for that. And I was always that guy that gave it, even to say in my, like, I've made some nice money in music. I have. I'm not even going to sit here.
Okay.
And it's been more so dealing with actual label stuff. But in the street, it ain't really been a whole bunch of money.
Right.
I may be able to take a consultant fee off the table here and there, blah, this, that, and the third.
Hey, Bugs, can you hand me that ginger ale in there, please?
But I feel like for the most part, these guys, it was like pulling teeth as you didn't come to me and understand that I have a track record of success. That's what brought you to me in the first place. Right. So these guys wasn't doing their part to the point where, and understanding that this shit is a grind.
Right, real shit.
Like, once this goes out, shit don't stop. It's right on to the next thing, right? You got to keep it moving. And then when things start to come in, that's when you got to grind more. You got to grind more. You got to go harder.
Because now that shit has accumulated some motion and some traction. And that's why you always got to be ready.
Yeah.
You know, at least I was taught in the game by some old wise men, you know what I mean? Like, look, just keep it going. The whole point of the saying, don't stop, is to keep you motivated and going, because everything stops when you stop.
That's it. And if you ain't there, what you stopping for?
But I'm going to tell y'all something. When you are moving forward, don't always mean you're moving forward.
Yeah.
A lot of y'all make a little bit of motion moving forward, and then y'all get caught up in maybe the love, or you might have accumulated some money real fast in that situation, and then you making every situation you try to be that situation. And now you're not moving forward because you got people stopping now and kind of looking at you like, we was trying to get you for this and thought you love what you do and all this, and you hitting us with this and that, and you need this and that, and you ain't done nothing with us and did no business with us yet. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So don't move forward and then cripple yourself with the means of everything about money, everything about money, everything about money. You know what I'm saying? The people that give a fuck about you gonna make sure they take care of you. And you're gonna appreciate what they do for the simple fact they don't gotta do nothing. And in the world I live in, nothing from nothing leaves nothing. Yeah. So if ain't nobody doing nothing, how much could you be something?
Yeah.
If you need other people to help you do something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And, you know, and that's why people be like, well, damn, you got a dope show and all this. My show is for you, not for me. I'm just the host. But at the same time, these are my friends. I have relationships with the artists. I have relationships with my cast members. You know what I'm saying? I got relationships with other people that come host some stuff with me. It's like people are family. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. And that's the thing. I want people to understand. You got to build an entrepreneur builds relationships. That's the biggest key in entrepreneurship. Building relationships, because you got to pitch something, you got to sell something, you got to motivate somebody, you got to make somebody like something.
It's funny that you say motivate. So going back to your question, so I pivoted from music. That was 2020. And I pivoted into the podcast. What people don't know too, this is so the podcast. I did the podcast for about 4 years, but I'm gonna tell y'all something interesting. What people don't know is, remember I was telling you about the boy. Why I just lose his name? The boy who you posted on your page with the freestyle.
Oh yeah, Don Mill.
Shout out to Don Mill. So when the podcast started popping, we want to say like 2018.
Right.
And then the boom really came 2020 when everybody said
when COVID shut down.
So
it really kind of
that's when it boom, right? So
2020.
In 2012, I was doing a podcast.
In 2012?
2012. So I used to do this online radio show, right?
Okay.
It was called On the Cornerstone. And everybody from the city used to
listen to it.
You know, shout out to Spado. I was the first person to interview Spado since he went to jail.
Shout out to Spade, man.
He was just getting ready to get out. And I interviewed him on the show. Wow. And guess who was in the studio with me when I was interviewing? What a lot of y'all favorite podcasts, Gilly.
Shout out to Gil, man.
So shout out to Gil, that's my boy.
Shout out to Gil, man.
But I'm just saying, it's just going to show how ahead of the curve
you was. And that was on radio, so you was doing this on the airwaves.
But this was the thing. I used to come on Wednesday nights, and I understood that everybody couldn't always listen.
Right.
So I had the idea. Back then we had iTunes.
Facts.
So everything was 99 cents, but then sometimes you could put stuff up there for free. I had the idea that I would, I would
do the joint and then put
and then put it up there for podcast. That's what blew me. And
it was my radio. That's crazy.
That's what blew my radio show up. Was my podcast aspect. Wow. So this was 20, and this is what led to the hoodie march and all that stuff. It's just so much people don't know.
But y'all see how far our idea can travel?
Yeah. So to see podcasts become a thing was crazy, because it was like, I did this. I did this. But so then I did the podcast, and I did the podcast for 4 years, and it just, it was cool for a while, but then some issues,
the technical bullshit
issues start happening with me and the other co-hosts and shit like that. And you know what I finally told myself, which brings me to the answer of the question, is, and this is just me and my world understanding, ain't nobody better than me.
Oh, you could be your worst enemy, or you could be your best friend.
And I thought about it like, why not create the content about my life, which brings us to the Book of Wayne, my YouTube channel.
Right. So, and this picture of you
on the cross.
On the cross,
well, let me tell you about the channel first, and then we'll get into the cross afterwards, because the cross is crazy. But so yeah, I have a YouTube channel, fully monetized now.
I mean, not to cut you off. I mean, it's you got your, who would have known that you would have actually had your cross sitting on the table?
On the table,
right here with you while you're doing your interview,
and it's crazy.
This was
2001, I got this. So you see what it says?
It's funny. We both got a little.
And what it say? Hove.
Yeah, Hove.
So I
2001.
So I knew I was gonna be on the cross back then. Ain't it kind of crazy how life worked? Ain't it wild?
You ain't had all them tattoos.
Yeah, this used to sit by itself.
That's what I'm saying. I know it did. That's what I'm like. To go through the tattoos is damn near you going through your cycle of pain. Because I know all them tattoos bled. So it's like, you know what I mean? So
it's like the foresight of like when I was at a young age was like all these downloads from the universe was already there. I was always supposed to be this. I was always supposed to sit in this chair and tell this story.
That's crazy, man. Real talk.
All them years ago.
All them years ago. That's real shit. And what's crazy is that's a testimony for real.
Yeah.
Because that's really a part of your DNA. Like like that shit was leaking off you, and that shit was taking you to heights and things that the average person would have never saw. I don't even think they would have saw if they was running with you.
Yeah.
And I think that's what was killing a lot of people around you too. It was like your foresight is extremely high.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like somebody's
gift.
Yeah,
like I got a gift from God. It's
not,
I didn't wake up one day like
you got. You know, it's crazy, right? Because now that I'm sitting next to you, Moo, again, you know what I mean? I ain't been next to you in a minute, you know what I'm saying? No, didn't. You know what I'm saying? You got a charismaticness like a red man. If we was in How High right now, I'm kind of like Meth.
Yeah.
And you red man, you know what I'm saying? You the nigga like eating the Cheetos and foot up on the table, nigga. Playing in your phone or some shit.
Listen,
I'm over here trying to get you to fix. I'm over here fucking playing with weed and shit, and you looking at me like
I'm fuck your couch nigga. I'm gonna come in my house and put my feet on the couch.
Yeah, you feel me?
You see, I did it right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like legendary shit like that. Like,
but it's funny.
You seen with a gold couch picture is sitting with their hands folded.
Bro, they don't want to touch nothing. I'm
the only nigga with
the phone
with my bare feet on the gold couch.
And what you got, a magazine in your phone?
What is that?
What you had in your phone or a
magazine? My phone, right? My phone right here. I'm going through my phone. That's what I'm saying. Laying on the couch in Rock Nation.
And then me and Tune do that same crazy shit underneath the Tupac plaque in Quad Studios. I put our feet all on the table, glass tables and shit. And I'm like,
it ain't about.
And I wind up tagging these niggas. It was like, no, I want niggas to understand, like but they don't understand in the mixture that is, we trying to show. What people see as some dumb shit is more of we know our culture, so it's like it's us making our viewers understand that this studio is discomfortable.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Come and enjoy yourselves. Book studio time, shit like that. It wasn't the fact that we wanted to just put our feet up on y'all shit.
Yeah.
It was more like, no. We want niggas to know this is a place that you give them, if you give it love, they gonna get a love back. And they gonna take care of you.
I can't front a little bit of my couch shit with Jay-Z. Fuck your couch, nigga. How about that? No, shout out to Jay-Z though. That's the GOAT. Shout out to Jay-Z.
I ain't say it. You ain't say
it. But even when we could talk about things like that, also when you go to the Book of Wayne, you know, like this last year for me has been crazy. Climbing back to the top. Like I went through. I when I was moving out of my last but like when I was moving out of my last house, you know, I was banking on us signing this deal that we didn't sign with the podcast. Everything fell through. I didn't have nowhere to live, so I talk about all this shit on the Book of Wayne. Like I
ain't seen you.
Yeah, it's
why you ain't fucking called me?
I know. It's all good.
Damn.
But I slept.
But then I was going through some shit too. So
and I feel like a lot of people were going through that.
I was fucking around and been even madder.
It was a tough last year, but I slept in. Like people don't know, I slept in parks, in the playground, slide on benches. I slept in storage units. It's been crazy. But like the Book of Wayne talks about all of this, and it's not for anybody to. And this is where the premise of the Book of Wayne comes from. You think about the Bible, you know, you got the book of Job, Genesis, right. But think about this. Though all those texts was written thousands of years ago, like we still have people who are going through these things
right now,
like myself.
I went through it. So you remember when I was dodged? Actually, it was crazy that I
be a book of Rome. You know what I mean? Like so it's just me. It's just me with the foresight again. Like
God wasn't going to keep you in that space for long. It was the reason why you went through that space. And I think it was just to get you back to your full ability of you. Sometimes, you know, we got to get scolded.
Yeah, for sure.
To push us back in our slot. Yeah. It's like hot cars. You put it in the slot and you used to, you know, hit the button there, go up the ramp, and you know, it's like that. Sometimes we got to get clamped back into what we good and what we know. Sometimes we try to leave shit alone, and you know, when I wanted to get as comfortable as I thought I was supposed to, God said, "You put this in your life right before I was about to bless you. Now you on another path. Now you on another path." That's gonna knock you back another 10 years because you about to put all this effort into this situation and you went into the situation not believing that anything that you believed in prior was ever going to happen.
Yeah.
So now, you know what I mean, bro?
So it was definitely God put me in a place to really get me back to where I needed to be. And right on schedule. I feel like everything's right on time, even with linking back with you. It's like telling my story.
This is what the platform is for, bro. Like that's why I love it being called Entrepreneur Talk with Rome, your favorite rapper, not Rome, your favorite rapper, entrepreneur. You know, it's not about me. You know what I mean? But I love to be able to be a great host. You know what I mean? Ask great questions, learn things. You know what I mean? Learn some stuff about myself. You know what I'm saying? Rekindle some things that I didn't even know still might have been sitting in me, you know, and get some foresight on it by somebody else's story. You know what I mean? And that's what I be wanting to bring to my community and my podcast community and stuff like that. And just my hip hop community and acting community and things like that. Just let people know, like, communication is key.
Yeah.
Rome has a podcast because, you know, for all the people used to tell me, oh, you talk too much, or you know, you this and that, and you telling people this and that. I'm like, yo, y'all don't talk enough for me. You know what I'm saying? And then they wonder why.
Communication.
And then everybody say that, I lost this person, or I had to leave this person because
people don't know if you don't tell them. It's just that simple. It's just that simple.
And a lot of times, and then people be like, well, damn, how they get me misconstrued? I thought the nigga, whoa, how did you think that this person knew when you never told them nothing?
Yeah.
Can't nobody read your mind.
That was another reason why I left the game. It's like everybody had all these shit they felt about me. But
stigma, putting all this stigma.
Say it to my face.
They never would.
Say it to my fucking face. You got an issue, say it to my face. And just because you got an issue don't mean it gotta be a problem. Right. But if you got an issue, say it to my face, not to 10 niggas behind my back.
Mm-hmm.
Which niggas love to do. That's another story for another day. That's why I'm on that cross, because they tried to nail me to the cross. They tried to bury me.
I see.
But like always, I rise again on the third day.
Yeah, all the time. Because at the end of the day, you know, God said, you know, don't mess with my children. You know, vengeance will be mine. Me and Asia was just talking about this on the podcast. Shout out to Sparks, man. You know, sis is a beautiful soul, man. And you know, that's say we got some beautiful artists and some they got some fire and fire in them and just talent in them and just ideas. That I know if the world could just truly open up. Let's say we had 1 week, the world just put the matrix wheel down. Like, just stop, don't turn the button on today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just don't turn the button on today. And I guarantee, and just give everybody a chance to have some change like they did in COVID. I tell everybody, a lot of people wouldn't be dead because when everybody had, even the homeless people and their dogs had money. Nobody had time to kill nobody because everybody was spending some money at the stores that they had just looted from. Niggas had just rioted and then turned around
and spent money.
And spent the fucking money right back. They even spent the money they sold and shit they stole out the motherfucking shit right back in the motherfucking stores. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I tell people, like, we gotta learn from our defaults and our faults, and that's how, as a community. But then, like I say, some of these people got to come back. Some of these people that got the lane to the money. You know, I was looking at something that said we got like 100 million different nonprofit organizations.
Yeah.
Where does money going?
Yeah.
Because it surely ain't going into the fucking communities.
Well, that's, you know, it's funny because shout out to my girl Salika. Me and her just got on a phone call. So, she's down at the city now. I used to work for the city years ago. You know, my story crazy. I watched the Book of Wayne. My story's crazy. But she called me because she wants to tap back in with me on that front. Because, you know, I have a nonprofit as well, and I tried to do things like with the revitalization of my neighborhood.
Right.
I wanted to bring like an arcade.
Right. Yeah, stuff like that. Like,
cool stuff. But not only that, but like even with the tour I was doing it because I had the access to all these artists, and I know these kids are just going to school and they're not interested in what's happening in these Philadelphia public schools. They're not. So I wanted to bring something that would get them excited. Like they need
to go to school.
They want to go to school. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So, you know, it's like first time around, sometimes things don't work.
Give them some Navy training.
Yeah.
At gym. Give them an hour at gym where they can really learn the accolades of working out. You got all these people that I went to school with almost 25 years ago. And now all the women in the gym.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting back saying, because y'all didn't do that shit when we was in gym as little kids in elementary and middle school and all that shit.
Yeah, we was gym class heroes.
We was gym class heroes, climbing ropes, jumping off the fucking ropes. You know what I'm saying?
To the ceiling.
You feel what I'm saying?
Big the ceiling is.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the shit they give you in you know, in the army and things.
Yeah.
We need like a training camp where they can progress, learn their strengths, learn their weaknesses. You know, these kids are growing up and they say, well, they growing up so fast. It's because they not learning. They learning everything outside in real time.
And they learning everything doing this all day.
All day.
Like, you know. And I also say this too. I say, you know what I would like to see? Cut the internet off for like a week.
Let's see how people act.
Cut it off for like 1 week. Yep. Cut it off.
See if you'll get some phone calls.
Yeah, cut it off 1 week. I feel like you ain't gonna have no choice but to integrate back into the world. Like, there's not gonna be a choice.
Now you're gonna have to use your phone as a phone.
Yeah, exactly.
You see what I'm saying? And people, and being as though that we stole from that era.
Yeah.
And we know what that era consists of. I can go right back to that shit. I can go right back to the manual. But with people, because again, let's say I do my videos on the green screen, whatever, boom, boom. But I'm still certified outside. That respect we were talking about earlier. So if that shit was to shut down, I can still go right back outside.
And everybody gonna show you love.
And everybody gonna show me love. Like, all right, and then the love gonna really be there because there's nothing else to do but go outside and support. Because that's the entertainment now. That's the entertainment in real time.
That's what I
not the television and not the reruns and all the pre-programmed and all this other shit.
That's what I try to tell people. Like internet is cool, but I'm like the dude in the world.
Right. Real shit. And I argue with a lot of people like that because I'm not. A lot of times, like I said, we blend in. So people assume we from this time frame.
Yeah.
And I be trying to tell motherfuckers like, well, I'm from an era where way before this shit. Like my deity is not from this era. So don't get me caught up in. That's why I'm asking y'all a bunch of questions and shit, because I'm trying to understand why y'all shaking and baking and moving the way y'all
doing it.
And I'm like, nigga, I got through my aura and all that, and it still don't got me doing the shit y'all doing.
Yeah.
So what the fuck got y'all shit speeded up that y'all done flew past my shit, me, everything that life has to offer, and y'all niggas running, y'all not scared to die. Saying one of my raps, y'all not scared to die, but y'all scared to live. How you not scared to die, but you scared to live?
Oh my God. Y'all scared to live.
How y'all scared to live?
Scared to live.
But you not scared to die. You quick to go die, but that means you scared to live. Because who's running to the death door?
Scared to live.
You not scared to live, nigga.
There's so much to live for. This is a beautiful world, y'all. Beautiful
people, man. When you find the right people, and when you know, and you got to realize, if y'all read y'all Bible or whatever books y'all really, y'all tap into your higher power and the higher power. Y'all realize that God said everybody is not my people.
Yeah.
So you really, when you learn yourself and have a relationship with Him, you realize you have to find your people.
You gotta find your people.
They not gonna be. You can't. But see, the world give these niggas so much ego. They walk in the room and think they can convert anybody over to something.
It's not about that.
And not realizing we all in different groups for real. It's all different levels. We all in different groups, even in that box. Because the niggas that's trying to get out are the thinkers.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Fuck wrong with you? The nigga that's in there like, I don't know where I'm at. I guess I was born here, so I'm gonna stay here. You be like, nigga, you was born in the world. You wasn't born inside of the crate, nigga. You see them crabs trying to get out, and one motherfucker just grab him and pull him back there. You be like, dang. Snap a nigga leg off and shit.
It's brutal.
It's brutal.
You know, but that's why we have conversations like this to keep pushing culture forward.
So we do our shout outs. You know what I'm saying? You want to, anybody you want to shout out before we, get off the phone?
Shout out to you.
Oh man, I appreciate
That's the only shout out I need to do. Shout out to you. Yeah, everybody else know who they are.
I appreciate it, big bro, man.
Listen, I appreciate you for having me on the platform.
No, listen, man. Anytime you want to stop past and come past, like I say, even if you want to come past and do something, you know what I mean. The platform is open for you. You know what I mean? To go ahead and you might want to got something important to give to the world.
Oh yeah, shout out to Bsσƙ. Y'all go subscribe, man. It's dope.
You know what I'm saying? So, my man, you know what I'm saying? So, y'all know y'all on another season of Entrepreneur Talk, man. We're on my favorite rapper, man. I had Big Bro in the building, King Wayne, man. Y'all know the vibes, man. Make sure y'all get the book too. And y'all see us next time, man. Gang, gang.
It's only up from here.
Only up.